Good day, everyone. This is Jenny Uy, Managing Director of Streamline International Solutions. Welcome back to Streamline, our business chats and business tips.
So, what's your criteria for choosing a virtual assistant like me?
Okay, so when I decided to hire a virtual assistant and I hired you, the things that I wanted to see in a virtual assistant, number one is attitude. It's very important because um, and with even in like employees in a corporate setting, attitude is still the main thing because the attitude comes from how they carry themselves, how they will look at challenges, how will they overcome challenges. So that's why attitude is very important to me. So that's one of the main criteria that I look for in a virtual assistant. Second would be uh, a growth mindset. So, someone who is willing to learn new things and 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 also striving every day and every time to learn without being told. So from my interview with you, you have to upskill and you do that in your own time. And that's one of the things that I appreciate about you is that you do have that growth mindset. That's why you're my virtual assistant. You do have that growth mindset, which I appreciate because then it enables you grow with me. There are things that you didn't know how to do at first, but then you learned and then you get good at it. And then there comes a time that I don't have to hold your hand in those areas. You actually can decide on your own. You have you can decide, and then you have different another added skills. So with a growth mindset, it actually adds value to the person, not just a professional, but on a personal level. So that's the second criteria um, that I I choose a virtual assistant based on how they strive to grow in their personal life as well as their skill set. So and then third, I think this is very personal to me. It may not be applicable to others, but when I hired you, I'm pretty sure that I wanted someone who has a different skill set from mine. I don't want a copy of me, but someone who actually has different, who has strengths different from mine. Being that way, we can work together. I can guide you in things that I'm strong in areas that I'm strong in, and then at the same time, you have skill sets that I don't have. That enables me to okay, so then we can work together. So with your skill set and my skill set, and then we become a partner. You know, Basically, when I hired you, I wanted someone who has a skill set, technical skill set, because those are the areas that I'm not in IT. But being an entrepreneur, I know there will be a lot of IT related things that my VA needs to know so that she'll be able to support me, especially with as a solo entrepreneur. I started as a solo entrepreneur, so there's websites that needs to be taken care of, and those are the things that I'm not really skilled at, but you are because that's your background, um, university. So that's one of the things that I looked at, your skill sets and how it can actually add value to the business and to me also as being my partner.
What are the challenges you'd encounter?
Okay, challenges of the accountant. It's not just for me. I think it goes for working with a remote staff or an on-site staff. Communication is a major, be a major challenge, even if you're working remotely or not. But then when you're working with someone remotely, I think that heightens the experience of because if you lack in communication, you cannot easily find that person and talk to that person. So sometimes, I think for some clients that I work with, virtual assistants go missing, you don't hear from them. So those are the experiences of other clients. Not from you, because I've been very fortunate that you're always available. And we did have an agreement on what times are really you should be available for me to talk. And you know my schedule and I know your schedule, so we communicate that schedule so that I know, okay, she may not respond in the time frame that I want her to because she's away, or she's doing something else. And because we openly communicating the schedule. Some virtual assistant would be full-time, so that's why you need to set what specific times you require them to be on call. So I think that's one of the things that needs to be, you can actually overcome that challenge of communication by just being open with each other in terms of your expectations. And next, I think, is also expectations. Because you're working with someone who's different from you. This is not just specific to some virtual assistant. It can be across the board. We're just working with an assistant or a coworker, a colleague. You have set of expectations. I think some people have these expectations of you know what I'm thinking, or you expect something from someone without actually communicating that to someone. So you have unmet expectations, whereas you didn't actually communicate. And also, one other thing also to consider is that person that you're expecting something from really has those, is capable of meeting those expectations. So I think with that, you can overcome that challenge of unmet expectations by setting your standards, setting your expectations, and then also taking into consideration the other person. So is the other person really capable of what you're expecting them to do? Maybe they're not really skilled in that area, so you shouldn't expect them to excel in that area if they haven't been trained, they haven't been exposed, so things like that. So I think one of the things that for clients of virtual assistants, so I think they have this expectation that the virtual assistant can do everything. Sure they can try to learn, but as people, they have their own strengths and weaknesses as well. So that's why you try to work with their strengths so that you get out of that frustration of of having unmet expectations. That's it.
And let me just add, in terms of communication, at first there's really an awkwardness, I think.
Yeah.
So you have to give it a time.
Yes.
For you to be able to be at ease with one another.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think there's I think misnomer or of some people that the virtual assistant knows exactly what you want. Whereas, you're a different type of person. I think every entrepreneur is different. So they're individuals. At the end of the day, we're all human beings and we're individuals. So we have our own, we are unique. So, the way that you run a business may not be the same way another person runs their business. So you cannot expect a virtual assistant to know exactly what you want,
Yeah.
And to work how you want them to. So that's why you really have to give it time and training. So I think, yeah, that's a really good point. Giving some time to get used to each other, to working with each other. I think personality is also one of the things that you have to consider, your virtual assistant's personality and your personality. If it jives well, then they can communicate better.